Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, and a very, very warm welcome to the closing session of this year's Asian Evaluation Week. I am Sonia Sandhu, Principal Evaluation Specialist with ID's ADB's Independent Evaluation Department, and I'm absolutely honored to be your host and moderator. Joining us for this session are ADB IED Director General Marvin Taylor-Dormond and Deputy Director General Veronique Salze-Lozac'h, Inter-American Development Bank's Director of Office of Evaluation and Oversight, Ivory Yong-Prötzel, and Dr. Kouqing, President of the Shanghai National Accounting Institute and Asia Pacific Finance and Development Institute. This session would share some nostalgia, provide a snapshot of this week, and look ahead towards a better future. And to quote Maya earlier, it has been a marathon week, so we are happy to share a few snapshots with you, but we begin first with some nostalgia. In closing, this year's Asia Evaluation Week, we take a couple of minutes to throw back to how it all began, and really what a simple coffee table conversation can lead to. I request Veronique to take us through this evolving and fascinating journey through a retrospective, which we are really proud to share. Veronique, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sonia, and a warm welcome to everyone. Well, as you know, this 2020 AEW was the 5th edition of the Asian Evaluation Week. And we wanted this anniversary to be special. Well, it has been special indeed, not always in the way we thought it would be. But as we are closing this 5th edition of the AEW, we wanted to leave you with a special gift. After 5 years in this adventure of the AEW, we thought it was time to look at the road covered so far and to capture the essence of the journey traveled since the first edition in Jianbin in 2016. In Xi'an, sorry, in 2016. We did so in a publication, an ebook entitled The Asian Evaluation Week, a Retrospective. Of these last 5 years and considers the whole growth span created since the idea emerged from this coffee table conversation that Sonia mentioned. And then it was transforming an idea into a project, and then a project into 1, then 2, and now 5 successful knowledge sharing events. The retrospective celebrates 5 years of learning, sharing, and the AEW. And we would like to share our warmest thanks to Jane Parry and Keisuke Taketani for doing a great job collecting stories, interviewing actors, collecting photos, and reconstructing this journey in an informative and attractive document that I invite you to read. So as it says in the ebook, it all started with a conversation. But I would also say that it all started with a partnership. The partnership of the Independent Evaluation Department of the Asian Development Bank with the Asia Pacific Finance and Development Institute, Ministry of Finance of the People's Republic of China. A partnership with a shared vision and shared objectives. So thanks to this partnership, thanks to the fantastic dedicated IED AFDI team that I would like to thank warmly today. Thanks to a strong leadership from Dr. Kouqing, President of AFDI, from IED's former Director General Vinod Thomas, and from our current Director General Marvin Taylor-Dormond. And as importantly, thanks to you all, speakers, presenters, panelists, participants, AEW has gone a long way since its first conversation between Dr. Lee and my former colleague and friend, Fazana Ahmed, more than 5 years ago. I was lucky to participate in each one of these 5 evaluation weeks that took us from Xi'an in 2016 to Hangzhou in 2017, Chengdu in 2018, and Kunming last year. We shared experiences and expertise on topics such as evaluation for policy making, country level evaluation, some technical sessions also, And all of them highlighted how evidence-based information can help improve development effectiveness. And this year, Evaluating for a Better Future was particularly timely in this type of crisis and uncertainty. So let's go back to the good memories of these last 5 years through this short presentation of the ebook that, again, I invite you to access and read, and we'll send you the links, and the links will be on the website. So short video now, please. Video coming soon. Well, I promise it was a short video. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I will finish with just one last sentence that I'm sure you've heard a lot. Alone, we can go fast, but together we can go far. And I would say that this retrospective shows that all together, we've gone both far and fast. And it's only the beginning. So I thank you and see you next year. Thank you. Back to you, Sonia.
Thank you, Veronique, and for that pathway to the future. We move on to, after that delightful video, and I'm sure you'll be downloading the ebook pretty soon. We move on to just take a quick look at a snapshot of Asia Evaluation Week as of now. This year's Asia Evaluation Week created a very unique precedent by gathering a very broad audience and large number of participants from across the world from different time zones on a virtual platform. As we've been through various sessions and we've participated in many, amongst us, we must have participated in many sessions and been panelists and different roles. We've noticed there was representation from multilateral development banks, the evaluation community, planning and finance ministries, risk and audit offices, civil society, national banks, and academia. And it's been an amazing coming together of professionals from all walks of life, actually. This clearly demonstrated the capabilities of us as a community to adapt as a seamless team and forge pathways in times of crisis and build windmills in the face of changing winds. I quote Marvin from his opening remarks. That really stayed with me, Marvin. So thank you so much for that one. To face winds of conflict and build from there. This robust agenda that we had led to many enriching discussions and knowledge exchanges on creating many shared values. The value of using evaluation findings for fostering partnerships between countries and MDBs, for providing strategic direction, enhancing technical know-how, and drawing lessons from collective experience using digital technologies, and many more innovative ideas that have been making necessity the mother of invention almost. The value of innovatively gathering data for evidence-based decision-making, enhancing accountability and the role of public finance management, and communicating with stakeholders for greater outreach, using visualization techniques, among many others. The visualization and the communication techniques, I don't know if many of you had a chance to attend those sessions, was something very, very unique in expanding our outreach to our various stakeholders. The values of enhancing evaluation methodologies for evaluating private sector interventions, SMEs, complex and transformational investment projects on topical areas such as environment and climate change, emergency response in the times of the pandemic, and more than anything, finding ways and forging pathways for localizing solutions for helping countries achieve their SDG targets. It is amazing how in this week we have all come together and created a large shared value system almost, the value of amazing teamwork, coordination, cooperation, collaboration, and very steep learning. So it's just a platform to leap forward going ahead. I now invite our panel to briefly share some remarks and key messages from this year's theme of evaluating for a better future. And for all participants, please feel free to share your questions through the Q&A tool that you'll see on your screens. May I request Ivory first, Marvin next, and Dr. Lee thereafter. So Ivory, please welcome.
Right. Thank you, Sonia. Here from the Inter-American Development Bank in Washington, it is for me an honor to be with you in this closing panel. First of all, my congratulations to the organizers for an excellent conference and for the choice of the name. All crises open to us the opportunity to learn and to improve. Learning from different country and regional experiences provide the occasion to understand what works and what could be adapted to our own local realities. In the current pandemic situation, we need to look for as many opportunities to learn as possible to be able to gear our evaluations to build a better future. That's why I think that the theme of the conference was incredibly timely. And it has allowed us to seize the opportunity to increase learning and to connect in a way that will mark our future. We know that timeliness is a crucial element for an evaluation to be useful and impactful, to increase development effectiveness. And I am sure that is the case of this conference. It will be useful and impactful. Now, as for your question, I'm thinking about the takeaways that we can take from this conference. What I would say is that, well, it's clear that the 2020 Asian Evaluation Week has been quite special. We could not meet in person. The exchanges between participants, either in the sessions or through the animated coffee breaks that I recall very well, were not there. And true as well, we did not get to discover another beautiful part of China. I miss that. However, my experience as a panelist and attendee to various sessions has been that these circumstances, these difficult circumstances, did not slow down the energy and enthusiasm of participants. On the contrary, I would say that the willingness to share, exchange, learn, and connect was even stronger. So my first takeaway is that the Asian Evaluation Week has passed the test and has proven resilient to changing and challenging circumstances. A second takeaway, and something that I have always appreciated and see now confirmed, is that the Asian Evaluation Week is a unique opportunity for South-South knowledge exchange. I am at the Inter-American Development Bank, and I'm no longer surprised when I discuss with fellow evaluators from Latin America and learn that they know and have attended the Asian Evaluation Week. Over the 5 years of existence, the Asian Evaluation Week has evolved from a regional event to a truly international one. It's a platform for participants not only from Asia and the Pacific, but from around the world, both developed and developing countries. The platform as it was said before, provides an opportunity to share and exchange experiences on the application of evaluation methodologies, learning lessons from challenges, collect feedback on approaches, tools, innovation in the field of evaluation. But even more, we've moved beyond this classical situation in which developed countries present the state-of-the-art methodologies or latest findings to developing countries. And the Asian Evaluation Week has had an important role in this evolution. It has catalyzed opportunities for peer learning and South-South knowledge exchange. And I think that's key. Finally, well, what a journey over the last 5 years, huh? I've been part of this adventure since its origins 5 years ago. And over the years, I've seen the Asian Evaluation Week grow and expand. Grow in the number of participants, expand by including other regions more, including South America, with roles for organizations like mine, the Inter-American Development Bank, and others like the Central American Bank for Economic Integration, with more diversity in participants, with evaluators from multilateral development banks, UN agencies, NGOs, bilaterals, government agents. But as important, I've seen not only evaluators, but users of the evaluation, decision makers, government officials. So the conference brings together and encourages the interaction between the supply and the demand side of evaluation. And the project, while driven by IED and an AFDI, was made possible because it was supported by many evaluation units sharing the same vision and objectives. From the start, you invited all the evaluators from the major MDBs, for example, international organizations, to support the Asian Evaluation Week and join the adventure. And we were there. And this is, I think, an asset that the conference should treasure while it keeps evolving and growing. And for me, that will be the last takeaway. This treasure that you have, this big asset, keep it and cherish it. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you so much, Ivory, for making such valid points on the value of peer learning. It's amazing. And building an asset. I think when MDBs come together and complement knowledge, the asset that's created, it's we'll have to find a way to measure it in a way. So let me let me invite Dr. Lee, please. Sorry, Dr. Marvin. I'm so sorry. Marvin, can I please invite you for your remarks?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ivory, for those nice words as well. Very much appreciated. You have been with us, I think, almost through all the entire process. And you have seen how we have evolved. So your words are, I'm sure, reflective of many others thinking that have been with us during these past 5 years as well. I would like to make some comments in two areas. One on form, if you wish, and the other set of comments on substance of what we have gone through during this session. First on form, and my first point is to fully agree with Ivory and with Veronique on how special this event has been. When we finished the last one together with Dr. Lee and his team, we discussed about the 5th anniversary, and we promised that it was going to be a special session. We will dedicate our effort to make it special. 5 years of this fantastic initiative. But we didn't ever think how special it was going to be. No one could have seen this event of COVID, this crisis coming in. And here, my point is to celebrate celebrate the way we have gone through. We didn't give up when we knew we couldn't meet in Shanghai at AFDI as we anticipated to mark the 5th anniversary. We did not give up, neither side, neither AFDI nor IED. And we pushed through. And here we are coming to the end of this event. I have to take my hat off to the teams and celebrate the way that you have all responded on both sides. On AFDI side, of course, with the leadership of Dr. Lee, with Scott and Min and the entire team behind. On our side, with Veronique at the helm and Maya and the entire team that we have put together to support this initiative. Extraordinary effort on both sides that I think we should all applaud and celebrate. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here at the 5th anniversary of the Asia Evaluation Week on virtual basis. So that's my first point on in terms of form. My second point is that sometimes things happen that you're not expecting, and the advantages, the way we can take advantage of adversity. And one of these things is connectivity. It's amazing how we have connected people from all over the world, from Africa, the Americans, from Asia. Despite these difficulties, we have gained. We have gained by connecting many, many more people to this event. And I think we should keep that gain. Going forward, we should keep that gain and try to see how we can capitalize on this extraordinary experience. My third point in terms of form is to celebrate the extraordinary commitment of those who were organizing the panels. I was really amazed. They're all absolutely serious panels, and all the panelists and the organizers were fully committed, and they prepared themselves. It should have been to run these sessions. And to all of them, we should also be thankful. They brought to us an immense amount of knowledge that we should now have to see. We were talking about this with Dr. Lee and his team on how to capitalize this and how to find a repository for all of this information so that it is not does not stay there just for this occasion, but that can be consulted going forward. So those are my 3 points in terms of form. I think I would give to the two teams a 10, an A+ for not only effort, but also for results. And in terms of substance, 5 points that I would like to make, quick points. One is the pleasure to continue seeing China showcasing its effort to expand, disseminate the practice of performance management, evaluation, and monitoring. It was, as usual, absolutely pleasant. All of us who have been in this event for all of these years have seen how China, little by little, has been presenting to us the extraordinary effort that they have been making in this field. And this year we heard about the application of performance management for following up on the programs that are designed to tackle poverty with immense successes. and some failures as well, with this candid expression by the authorities in charge of managing these programs, this system of performance management. And we continue learning, as I have said before, of the on the pace that this system is being put in place, and the quality and the commitment of all the parties to put in place. There are things, of course, that that the system still needs, including capacity development, including quality use of the system, things that I referred to at a recent interview. But the learning is extraordinary, and I trust that the learning also is two ways, that we're bringing knowledge from all over the world to China, and taking knowledge from China as well on their progress in setting up this system. The second thought is on our connection with parliamentary work. We have some sessions. We have kept that light alive all over these sessions in the past, and in this one we feature some work in this sense. Connecting with the parliamentary system is fundamental for making enhancing the effectiveness of evaluation. And I was very happy that we continue with this tradition. I'm thankful to our colleagues who brought that perspective to the conference. The third point is on climate change. We're going through a crisis, a health crisis in this case, but I think that if we are not careful, probably we are already very deep into it. We will also be running into issues related to climate change, especially in our region of Asia and the Pacific. And if something we can learn about the crisis that we're going through now is the nature of the interconnectedness of human beings and of the decision-making process, not only of the problem themselves that we're facing as humanity, but also of the interconnectedness of the decision-making process in each of our countries and each of our local governments. And I think we should continue paying attention to this subject in our conferences. I'm glad that it was widely featured, and we should continue paying attention to it. The fourth point is that we finally featured in a more prominent way private sector. We have been saying this over the last 2 years, that we had to feature private sector. And finally, we made it this conference. There were some interesting exchanges on private sector. And I'll refer to what I think should be the next step to continue emphasizing the role of the private sector and evaluation in the private sector. And finally, the last point that I would like to underscore is the attention that we continue giving to methods, which I believe is fundamental for our conference. And this time we explore issues related to geospatial approaches, to big data, to artificial intelligence in our field, use of artificial intelligence in mining data that is being produced by our evaluation, a very interesting project that Veronique has been leading on our side. And I think we should also continue digging in that area. We should quickly evolve to be able to understand and play a role in very rapidly moving events in terms of development and public policy. So those are my thoughts. I think it's been a great conference, both on the form, and as I said, we have to capitalize on what we have gained and learned here, and on the substance. Thank you, Sonia.
Thank you, Marvin. Capitalizing on substance and unpacking it in form and substance, I think can be like really the two pillars moving forward. And really keen and very important takeaway complementing Ivory's statement on building an asset and enhancing the effectiveness of evaluations by coming together and responding like a community in the times of crisis. Yes, it's truly been an amazing journey, an amazing experience. But I could take a moderator's prerogative and also mention that leadership plays a really important role. And we all from the community, thank you all for that. So with that, let me invite Dr. Lee, please, for his remarks. Thank you, Dr. Lee. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sonia. First of all, I want to thank Ivory and Marvin for your very kind words for this AEW. And also thank you both for your very strong support in the past few years to AEW. As Marvin mentioned just now, last year when we were in Kunming, when we about to finish the fourth AEW, we started discussing on preparing for the this year's AEW. Both of us committed to have a special event in 2020. Actually, right after we returned to Shanghai, we started the preparation work. We want to prepare everything. We want everything to be ready for our distinguished friends, colleagues, coming from almost every part of the world to Shanghai to join the 5th AEW. However, because of the COVID-19, it turned out to be unrealistic to have all of you, to accommodate all of you in Shanghai. But as my dear friend Marvin mentioned, this AEW 2020 is still very, very special in many aspects. Regarding the takeaways, I fully agree with Ivory and Marvin for your excellent points. For myself, I think the first takeaway is I think technology is reshaping the world we are living. It is also reshaping the evaluation world. I think actually, after the outbreak of COVID-19, we really had a big concern about AEW 2020. How should we do this? Whether should we cancel this year's AEW? We really had a big concern when we have some internal discussion with my colleagues here. Anyway, finally, I think AEW 2020 turned out to be a miracle. It's really great with the support of technology, as Ivory and Marvin mentioned, the connectivity among the evaluation community in the world actually becomes stronger. So it tells us with inspiration and with the support of technology, with our joint commitment, nothing is impossible. I think this is my first takeaway. The second is, I think by having some interaction with participants, apparently all of us feel that the pandemic has brought the face-to-face communication. However, based on the message we can collect, feedback we can get from all the participants, it tells us actually evaluation becomes more important. Thinking about the challenge, the terrible challenge we are facing, thinking about the limited resources we have to address the challenge, I think all of us agree, especially at this spatial moment, we need to use evaluation as an important tool to address the challenge. I think this is the second takeaway I have. I think without high quality evaluation, maybe it's very difficult for human beings, for people in different countries, for governments, for international development institutions to learn from this pandemic, to improve our future work. That's I think very important, as we said. Evaluation for a beautiful future. Actually, maybe we should say high quality evaluation can help us to have the better future. One more takeaway I think is based on the discussion. We think in the future, maybe we should organize more in-depth discussion on some important issues. I think Marvin has mentioned some area that we should focus more in the future, like climate change, like the participation and the role of private sector, like the application of new technology in evaluation. And if we look at the case in China, I think poverty reduction, and also education, environment protection, and so on. I think there are lots of areas we should have more in-depth study, more in-depth exchange in the future. My last takeaway actually is related to cooperation. I think why can we make such a great success under such a tough environment, facing such a tough challenge? I think the answer is cooperation. As Ivory mentioned, that's a cooperation between the co-organizers. That's a cooperation among the whole evaluation community in the world. I think no matter what we want to achieve in evaluation area, including we want to have a better understanding about evaluation, we want to have a better use of new technology in evaluation, we want to use evaluation to promote high quality development, to make a better future. We need cooperation. Only, I think, can we cooperate better to contribute the limited resources every site have, including cooperation between South and the South and the South and the North. I think only in that way we can move fast and far, as Veronique mentioned, and we can make a bigger progress in the future. And the evaluation community can make a greater contribution to the overall development of the world. I think we are coming to the end of the fifth evaluation. In a while, I will deliver the closing remark. I want to again thank all the partners, all friends to attend this event. Because of your support, we can come out a great result. I think all the world should join hands. Maybe not only evaluation community, maybe other community can also learn something from our practice. Cooperation can make a better world. Yeah, thank you, Sonia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. Clearly reiterating and re-emphasizing the points very nicely. And there are 3 C's for quality evaluation, which I can cull out from your remarks on connectivity, commitment, and cooperation for high quality evaluation. And so that's a great summing up. I think participants should have had some questions. I will open the floor for questions, if any, please. Just let's give it a couple of minutes for questions, if at all. Many thank yous. Question to the panel: how do we get political buy-in for monitoring and evaluation at the senior government level in the context of low-income countries? Very valid question for anyone who would like to go first. It's for the entire panel. Dr. Lee, would you like to take that on? And then maybe we'll reverse the order this time. Maybe Marvin and Ivory can follow if they need to add or complement something.
Okay, let me try. First, I want to thank our participants who raised this great question. I think Marvin and Ivory will be able to give a better answer than I can, but I would like to try first. Apparently, the commitment from the leaders in the country is very, very important to promote evaluation and to make a good use of the result of evaluation. However, how can we bring them in? I think maybe bring them to AEW is a quite good way to invite them to attend the AEW, to share some practice, to help them to get a better understanding with the change model and the development practice of many other countries. I think in the future, maybe ADB, maybe also Ivory, your bank, can jointly organize some seminar, especially targeted at those senior officials from low-income countries, which can provide some opportunity for those senior officials to have a better sense about what a modern change model is, why they should introduce evaluation framework, and in what way they can promote the capacity, the evaluation capacity building in their country. Maybe they can start from some pilot program in their country, because it's really difficult to scale up the evaluation work in every sector, every level. But if you start from some pilot program, especially to have the support from international development institutions, I think that can showcase the value of evaluation. Yeah, that's my brief thought at this moment, and I hand over to Marvin. Maybe my friend, you can help to answer this question better.
Thank you very much, Dr. Lee. Good friend, Dr. Lee. Once again, thank you for this great success of this event. I would say three things that are needed. One is the development of some minimum capacities and understanding of the discipline at the country level through academia, associations, etc. I mean, the evaluation cannot grow up in a vacuum. You need some understanding, a basic understanding of some people in the country about the nature and usefulness of evaluation. So developing these capacities is fundamental, and that's one thing that we work a lot in ADB. We have this permanent program of developing capacities at the country level that Maya and Maya, Sonia are in charge of. We do this from IED, working at the country level. So that's a first thing, a minimum, a base capacity so that the discipline is understood. The second component to me is that needed for this to happen is that there is some active civil society demand for it. In the end, we don't want evaluation just to please some experts in their methods and give them a job. No, we don't want evaluation for that. We want, as we have been talking in this event, evaluation for a purpose. Right? That's why we emphasize so much the nexus between evaluation and decision making, evaluation and policy making, etc. Right? But then you need civil society to demand the need for evaluation to understand, to improve the delivery of public sector services. So you need definitely that demand from the community for this to move forward, and for policymakers to understand that they have to do something about this. And finally, you need a strong tone at the top, strong tone at the top. And this has to do not only with the executive branch, but also with the legislative branch. That's the way that evaluation has developed in Europe. That's the way that it developed in North America. It was during the 60s legislation that was introduced, forcing the use of evaluation to measure programs. The results of programs in New Zealand, in Australia. I'm talking about the countries that are most advanced in this field. And at the same time, as I said, developing local capacities. And that is the way that is being developed in China. Once again, that's why we are here also to learn from China. If anything, we can learn about China and how this system is being put in place at such a rapid pace is precisely the tone at the top. The CCP said this is going forward in October 2018, and everyone is aligned, and everyone has to do it, right? So that's the way it is, right? So if you don't have a strong tone at the top, And the other thing is that continuous, right? Not in one government, not in one administration, continuous tone at the top. This will not develop in any country. And I can talk more about failed experiences in this sense, right? I'm saying not only because of what has worked, but what has not worked, including in my own experience while I was in government, in which we try to work, improve or introduce evaluation, but it didn't work. It lasted only a few years because of the absence of these elements that I just spoke about.
Before I invite Ivory, there's a very complimentary question, Ivory, and you can add to what Dr. Lee and Marvin said, and to that question, and the one here, which is from someone in the Philippines who talks about institutionalizing national evaluation policy, and if there's any advice from the panel on how that can be done. And I think it's complementary to what was being discussed earlier on building that base capacity, and of course to Dr. Lee's point on exposure and peer learning and demonstration does really have huge impacts. So bringing it together at a national level, maybe we can start with Ivory on that. And Ivory, you could complement the remarks from Marvin and Dr. Lee and add to this question. And we have a couple more coming, but I think given the time, we'll need to regulate that a little bit. So over to you, Ivory.
Thank you, Sonia. Yeah, I think it's quite complementary, as you said. I would agree with what Dr. Lee and Marvin have mentioned. Marvin at the end was mentioning experience that he has seen in his country. And now we can think that his country, one of his countries, in Costa Rica, yes, in South America, how yes, things have evolved. Costa Rica has become a champion of evaluation, and it has been a long path. So yes, indeed, in contexts of scarce resources, it can be difficult at first sight, but in fact, that is when you need most evaluation. Governments need to signal that the use of resources is rational and that they bring results. That's why the civil society that mentioned Marvin is important. But bringing examples from other countries is as important. For instance, the Inter-American Development Bank sees as a priority to develop national systems. So not to come and impose and use our own systems as a multilateral, but to make sure that the countries have their own systems that work well. Those goes from the Institutes of Statistics, procurement system, national accounts, and monitoring and evaluation. So monitoring and evaluation is included in all the projects of the Inter-American Development Bank that works with the country. But the important aspect is that the country becomes accustomed and sees the benefits of having such a system. We also very often include impact evaluations on the projects. And so that becomes like a pilot for the countries. So now our evaluation department, independent evaluation department is working on precisely the 3 dimensions that Marvin mentioned. What we want is to strengthen the networks on one side with civil society, with evaluation practitioners, bring academia and work with the private sector, with the agencies that can bring evaluation forward. And now it is only when you usually start, and most countries, at least in Latin America, have that, is that it's only at the level of the line ministries that they will have some monitoring and evaluation elements. But what's important is that progressively they are brought together and interlinked. And that's when really monitoring and evaluation can contribute on the allocation of resources at the central level. So the experience that we have in certain countries is that you need a long-term commitment from the parties. That's the case in Costa Rica, which I could say is really a success. It has worked with the commitment of the country, but also the support from partners from the outside, notably German cooperation, but not only.
Yeah, agree.
Thank you so much, Ivory, Marvin, and Dr. Lee. I've just been warned that we are getting almost to the closure, but they're just two very, very interesting questions. But those questions could also be a segue into our next segment for the closing, is to get your views on looking ahead. So what I could request, at the risk of putting you slightly on the spot, is that in your closing remarks, and we'll begin again with Marvin and followed by Ivory and Dr. Lee, if you could just also fold in this question on how would we integrate scattered monitoring and evaluation systems that are perceived to be created by donors and development partners and international organizations through the government systems, and if there are any suggestions for you on that, on how to harmonize these systems. And there was another question on integrating lessons better from evaluation results. So clearly that's a segue into looking ahead. I'll request Marvin to please take that on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Yeah, I mean, evaluation, monitoring and evaluation is of nature for donors and multilateral because it's embedded in our organization. We have to do it. All our organizations have these systems, and so we do it for our own projects, in programs and strategies and so on. The thing is how to take that beyond the realm of operations of our organization. And there is where the role of capacity development, and I fully agree with what Ivory said, system creation come into place. And in fact, while I'm talking about this, I should have moved this question to you, because that's what you are responsible for in the department, right? This is your responsibility of developing these capacities at the country level. Most of our departments of evaluation are mandated with developing capacities, not only evaluating the institution's projects and programs, but also develop capacities. But it has to be done, as Ivory is saying, in a more systemic way, not little by little, not project by project, not institution by institution, but you have to have a good understanding of the issues at the systemic level, which is what we're trying to do now with some countries, including in the Pacific, I mean, you could talk a lot about this, Sonia. So in closing, right, so looking forward, very briefly, right, I already hinted what I believe has to be the emphasis going forward. I think, number one, we should not lose what we gain, as I said now. From here on, events cannot be just presential. We have to capitalize on the virtual connectivity and communicate with other people around the world. Extraordinary gain that we have acquired here. I think that in terms of in terms of form, we have to also find ways of how to bring everyone more closer to this sensation of being there, present, right? Something we have to do in that sense, in terms of form. And in terms of substance going forward, I think in the next sixth session of AW, first of all, we have to address COVID. Definitely, that has to be a major issue, major theme in our conference. What we have learned and what are we learning through the real-time evaluation that are being put in place by many of our organizations and by the real-time evaluation coalition. We have to invite everyone to talk about this. We have to bring the private sector itself in next time. This time we spoke about private sector, but from the multilateral development perspective, we have to bring the private sector, which is investing in impact, investment, right? And there are some evaluators, I have talked about this in the past, several evaluators that are doing this work. We have to bring them here and try to talk with them to understand what is it that they are doing. There are billions that are being put in impact investment, and it's not evaluators who are doing this work. We're assessing this work. We got to bring them to our conference. We already started with private sector. That's the next step. We got to bring more country perspective that we have talked about in the past. And I was very encouraged by what I said a moment ago, what China presented on performance evaluation and poverty reduction. We got to understand better, unpack that, understand better what is it that China is doing in this space that we can learn and take to other countries. That might be something really interesting because, again, this is done at a very fast pace, always, and effectively in China. And I think that that can give us a really good opportunity for learning and conveying lessons to other countries. I like to see if we can dig a little bit more in that sense. And I think we have to connect more with evaluation associations at the country level, connect more with the AFDI alumni, connect more with the IED alumni that we're training so many people over the years, connect more with all of these colleagues that are there and that are our friends already going forward to see if we can enhance the country perspective. We got to definitely feature centrally climate change because of the reasons, as I said a moment ago, and we have to continue working on method. We have to have a whole line of sessions dedicated to method, but applied method. It's not training, it's applied method. How does this work in practice for the benefits of all of those who are doing evaluation or policy making? So those are my reflections going forward. Thank you very much again, Dr. Lee. Thanks so much. Extraordinary partnership with you, with all of your colleagues. We are delighted and we are committed to continue going forward with this partnership. Next year is going to be even better. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin. Thank you so much for laying out that very clear roadmap and also complementing what Dr. Lee said earlier on deep diving into some topical areas like climate change and complex projects. We shouldn't really shy away from them, but we need to start integrating both the start and finish together. And that's also incorporating learning. And on the capacity development, no pressure, but yeah, it's a very, very important pillar that we are working on all together. Ivory, over to you for your remarks and any other issue that you may have felt that you want to re-emphasize, please.
There is little to say after Marvin, with so much interest and insights and enthusiasm, especially, and thinking ahead for the new conference. Perhaps simply with regards to the integration of lessons, that was one of the questions.
Yes.
I think that clearly closing the knowledge loop is the modern grail. Everyone tries to understand what's the best way to do it. There are many examples that work, many that do not work, so we have to be really aware. And I think it takes not only the evaluators, which clearly we need to learn to communicate our results in a much better way, in a less technical way, in a way in which takes into account the user point of view and not the evaluator's point of view. But it also requires the right incentives and the space for those who design and decide on the policies and the interventions. So it is complex and it cannot be solved only from the point of, from the side of the evaluators. I think that's key. Now for closing, I would simply say that with respect to the conference for next year, I do hope it will continue adapting and listening to the demand of the practitioners, both evaluators and users in terms of the topics. And I agree that COVID it's key. But a message for those who are listening is also the users, the participants, the attendants, they need to express their interest. Which are the topics that are the ones that are of interest? If we do not speak up, then the organizers cannot take this information into account. So we need to speak out. Second is capacity in the countries. We need to continue working on the capacity, building capacity for the countries, and there are different regions, in different regions efforts are being made, and that I will link it again with the peer work, the South-South knowledge exchange mentioned earlier. I think that we need to continue having efforts for the Asian Evaluation Week to be the international platform that it has become. And I think it's clear that you have a scope to showcase your success in other regions, and therefore to support the efforts in other regions to develop this type of initiative. I've said to Dr. Lee in the past, let's not forget that the origins of the AFDI is in the Asia Pacific Finance and Development Center, which was established where? Santiago de Chile in South America. So looking forward, I would encourage really to the organizers a much stronger and proactive collaboration with other regions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ivory. And with that example, you actually reflected on how the knowledge loop can really be closed. And it is demonstrating that knowledge loop can close and can keep on growing and creating the shared value between the user and the evaluator's perspective. It's not one versus the other, but a partnership to enhance the effectiveness of development. So that's a great roadmap moving forward. So Dr. Lee, over to you for compliments and additional remarks and your roadmap.
Okay. I think Marvin and Ivory actually has drawn a brief picture for 2021 AEW, even a longer roadmap for AEW to go, right? The major themes, major topics we should discuss, and the major task we should finish, right? We should do. Definitely with the support from our partners, ADB and many other partners, we are committed to make AEW a continuous success for this world. We are happy, Marvin. I think we're happy to work together to provide a good solution for the program or the issue or the task raised by Ivory, right? We can jointly do something for Asia at the same time, maybe for other parts of the world. We're happy to do that. And I think in order to do a bad work for the future, definitely we need more feedback from the community on our past work. In terms of the theme, in terms of the topic, in terms of the format of organizing various activities. I guess maybe we can have more focused discussion for the coming years AEW. And also, in order to make the discussion more in-depth, maybe we should bring the participants to the circle earlier. So what that means, they not just come to attend 5 days or 4 days communication, but actually maybe they can join the circle much earlier, so can prepare for the discussion, for the exchange in a better way. So as Marvin said, maybe we can work together with some Chinese experts to try to find some experience and the lessons behind the picture. So we can share with participants from other country why China can move quite quick in evaluation area. Of course, China also need to learn from many other countries. I think in order to promote climate change, the evaluation work related to climate change, related to poverty reduction, related to anti-COVID-19, and many areas. Maybe we can invite some experts or relevant people to prepare some cases, even some paper for the coming AEW. And after the discussion, maybe we can come out proceeding. Actually, we had a brief discussion yesterday for AEW 2021. So in that way, people who are not able to join the live discussion dialogue in AEW, still they can benefit from our output. So in that way, the impact of AEW could be bigger, right? And we're also discussing the venue for AEW 2021. I think definitely we will reach a very good consensus and find a very good venue for AEW 2021, right? Marvin, that's our joint commitment, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. I think maybe, Sonia, I don't need to deliver a very formal closing remark, right?
Right.
Yeah. Then I really want to take this opportunity to thank all the partners, especially our colleagues in ADB, Marvin, your Veronique, the whole team under your leadership for your great work. And also, of course, I want to thank Ivory and many other leaders in various international organizations and experts from various governmental departments and some from private sectors who join their hands, who provide their support to AEW 2020. As I said, without your support, it's impossible to have such a great success while we are facing so huge challenge. I think one of the purpose of evaluation actually is help people to learn. But the evaluation itself, evaluation community itself, also need to learn. I think that's one of the basic purpose for us to organize AEW. As organizer, we also need to learn. We need to learn from our practice. We need to learn from other people. So we really want to hear your voice after this event. I think all the participants are warmly welcome to send their comments, suggestions to us, either to our ADB colleagues or FDI colleagues. And your proposal on the future AEW, especially AEW 2021, is extremely welcome. Of course, I also want to thank my boss in Beijing, Vice Minister Chen, and other leaders in Ministry of Finance for their strong support. Thank Director General Hao and Director General Wang for their support to AW 2020. I think with their sharing, we can have a better understanding about the overall picture of evaluation, especially from the Ministry of Finance perspective in China. And also, I want to thank VP Chen, Chen Sixing in ADB, and also Executive Director Chen Zijun, even though he didn't show up in this AW, but he continues to provide a very strong support for us. I think both for our ADB colleagues and FDI colleagues. With this, I think I should say we come to the end of 2020 AEW. With the joint efforts, we create a miracle. I think in the future, if we continue to work together, we bring more power, more people into the circle. We work cooperatively, innovatively, we can achieve more. We can help to make the world, the future more beautiful. With this, I want to thank you again and to announce 2020 AW is successfully closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Lee. In normal course, it would be a thunderous applause in a beautiful conference room, but we have to make do with what we have. But if I may just take a second, because it was really very a big learning that there was a string of C's that emerged, and I thought to take it forward: commitment, cooperation, community feedback, consensus, continuous learning, creating repositories of learning for complementary assets. So thank you so much for everybody's very nice and lively participation and all your remarks. And thank you, Marvin. Thank you, Ivory. Thank you, Veronique. And thank you again, Dr. Lee, for this amazing partnership. Really appreciate the teamwork. Thank you so much. And thanks to all the participation by all the participants and all the amazing teamwork going on behind the scenes. Thanks again.